Hello everybody. So this is a review video. The way I'm going to do this is I think what I'll do is I'll make basically a video for chapters 1 and 2. I'll take a break for dinner, and then later on I'll make a review video for chapters 3 and 4, and maybe later tonight or tomorrow I'll do 5 and 6, okay? So let's do 1 and 2 now, and I'll try to call out the things that are important for you, all right? I'm just going to try. I want to be fair to everybody. All right. So remember the overall goal. Our overall goal is to create value. Okay. We want to create value. And by taking opportunities, the process has 3 items, which you should be aware of, right? Develop opportunities, gather resources, manage and build operations. And the where these all join and come together is right here. And I'm going to create value. Okay, everyone should be aware. What's my goal in creating a company? Value. All right, so the entrepreneurship, you should know what this is, right? This is the process of changing ideas. So this really should be on your sheet. And who an entrepreneur is should be on your sheet. Don't confuse these two, right? This is a process, entrepreneurship, and this is an individual. So you should know that, right? And you should basically know how a successful entrepreneur works, right? And what he's got to do to succeed, right? There's 3 bullets here, right? You don't have to worry about this too much. I wouldn't worry about this. I wouldn't worry about that. And basically, just a general idea of how the innovations come about through changes in society. These are trends, right? Demographics, and because of these trends, you can come up with entrepreneurial and start new companies, right? And people have done that. We talked a little bit about that, and you don't have to worry too much about this. Okay, so let me go back here, and there's principles you should know, right? Principle number 1, right? How many, right? Principle number 1, principle number 2, right? Principle number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you should know that there's 7 principles, right? So you notice how we did that, right? Principle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You should at least know there's 7 principles. And the headline on most of them, right? There's a headline on them. That's got a headline, and that's got a headline. Increase value, right? You notice the headlines up here, not the bullet points. Okay, so there's 7 principles. You find that 7 principles. And here's the what the role of entrepreneurial finance is. This is somewhat important, right? Because that's what the course is all about. All right. So we have different life cycles, right? There's stages of a venture's life, and you should know all of this by now, right? The development stage, the startup stage, the survival stage, the rapid growth stage, and the maturity stage. That's 5, right? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 stages. Okay. And we'll talk about these definitions later, right? A business angel is a wealthy individual. And what venture capital is. And there's a couple little definitions here, right? A venture capitalists are individuals who join like a company. They're an organized firm to give you money for your company, right? And there's different forms of financing, right? All right, so let me move on to chapter 2. And let me close this. All right, so here's chapter 2, and this is titled Developing the Business Idea, right? So we're going to go through components of a business model. And this is important here, right? The various types of firms. You'll probably see one of these questions on the right here on the midterm. Salary replacement firms, lifestyle firms, and entrepreneurial ventures. So I would go over this carefully, right? You would go over that. And what makes a good business model, right? You want to generate revenues. You got to have customers, and you got to make profits. All right, so basically there's 3 areas that are your best practices, right? Marketing, financial, and management, right? So those 3 you should know, and I could put a fake one in there, so as long as you know MFM, marketing, financial, and management. All right? This you can just get by just doing the reading, right? I mean, this is just general stuff. And here's the financial, prepare detailed financial plans. I wouldn't get too bogged down with this stuff. And here's the management best practices. Right? And this is an important thing, right? Business opportunities exist in real time. You should be reading the chapters, right? They're not that long. All right. You should know what a SWOT analysis is, right? What SWOT stands for. Very important, right? You should know what SWOT stands for. All right, and there's 2 to screen a venture opportunity. There's 2 approaches, right? Qualitative, which is in basically discussions, screening, interviews, and quantitative. But you don't have to know how to do the VOS indicator. Just know there's 2 of them, right? All right, all this stuff is boilerplate. And these terms you should have known from 330 or 365, or some accounting cost of goods sold, where these all come from. We went over these, right? You should know where these come from and what they're all about. Gross profit margin, right? I put that equation on the board. Net sales minus cost of goods sold, or divided by net sales, right? Gross profit divided by revenues, right? And that's in your book. All right, so return on assets, right? And there's a couple little equations here. You should know this equation, net profit margin, right? And basically asset turnover here. Total assets divided by revenues is the reciprocal of asset turnover. So ATO is equal to the revenues divided by total assets. Right, so ATO is asset turnover, and return on asset is asset turnover. So there's a couple little minor ratios here that may be important. I wouldn't worry too much about slide 18 here. All right, and some of these are just definitions. I would know what operating cash flow is. I wouldn't worry too much about 20 or 21 or 22. These are all boilerplate. All right, now we get the important stuff, right? The key elements of a business plan, right? Cover page, what a business plan is, if it has to have a confidentiality statement, and here's a typical business outline, right? So here's a typical business outline. There's 4 things on there. You can put that on your sheet. And here's the marketing plan strategy, right? So a lot of these things you've seen already, right? the management team. So this is just a basic business plan outline. And we've gone through this, and you can see this on the blackboard. All right, so really that's it. There's not too much math in here. And the important concept, as I said here, is some of these ratios and these terms here. Cost of goods sold, right? Slide 16 is important, right? And what SWOT is. You should know what SWOT is. And business opportunities exist in real time. Different management. So you should go over just some of these terms here. All right, so there's 3 areas that have concentration, right? Best practices, marketing, financial, and management. And we want to generate revenues, right? And this is important, right? Different types of firms. You should know which one goes with which, right? I can mix them up. All right, so that's about it. So what I'll do now is I'll take a break, and this covers chapter 1 and 2.